Hi everyone, my name's Julie Brandon and I'm a Christian life coach, and I'm doing a series of videos currently on some lessons I've learned and things that I experienced, some of my experiences in a cult. So if you listen back to some of my previous videos, you'll hear how about 10 years ago I was deceived into, it was actually a satanic cult. However, I didn't know. I didn't know it was satanic. I didn't know it was a cult. They were posing as angels of light through spirit channelers, and it's part of the New Age movement. And I spent 4 years with them before I got woken up to who they were. So uh, I feel called right now to share some of the lessons and experiences. Uh, I am still in recovery, and I don't have you know, all the answers. I certainly don't understand everything that's in the Bible. I have not been studying the Bible my whole life. I left the Christian church in my early 20s and refound it after getting into this cult. And I haven't even finished reading the whole Bible. Uh, However, I have gone through a lot of the New Testament, and I can tell you, after being in this cult, that a lot of what I have read in that New Testament sounds right on, um, compared to the experience I had in this cult with Satan and what I understand to be demons or evil spirits or dark spirits. So, I, I don't. I've had a lot of thoughts today on uh, how I'm still in recovery and I'm still learning, and I don't understand everything in that book, but and has kind of hesitating on sharing some of this information today. However, I've come to the conclusion that we probably, on some level, at least most of us, can say that they don't understand everything in that book, right? However, I understand the experience I went through, and it was very vivid to me. I lived it. And so I can talk about my experiences, and I can talk about what I learned and what happened. And my hope is that if there's somebody out there that needs this information, that they'll find it and that it will help them. Whether they're in a cult right now, or maybe they've gotten out of the cult and they're in recovery like me, or maybe they're about to get into a cult and God can lead them to one of these videos to help them avoid getting into the cult, right? So my goal is to help people, and a lot of what I've talked about and I plan to talk about, I believe the information about cults, and there's probably a lot more on it than I can even speak of, right? I know it's all out there. But the way I understand this is that when you share from your personal, unique experience, because we're all unique, then there may be people who can benefit from your individual, unique experience in a way that they can't get help from somebody else. So my goal is to share and help, if possible. So I've been sharing some of the lessons. Today, I wanted to talk about a couple things. One is about safety and protection, okay? Spiritual safety and protection, as well as physical, but I'm more focused on the spiritual, right? So uh, we do need spiritual protection, okay, from evil and evil spirits. And what I understand to be Satan or the devil, the evil one. They refer to him different ways in the Bible. I'm seeing the word Satan, I'm seeing the devil, I'm seeing the evil one, whatever name you want to put to it. Um, I do believe we need protection, right? However, when I got into this cult, that's one of the things they did. One of their strategies and the way they deceived me and programmed me was to strip away my knowing and desire for protection. Okay. And They basically told me, and I'm going to repeat some of the things they told me. They didn't tell me this all at the same time. Some of these things that they said to me happened at different times. But there was one comment they made to me. Um, they said they were talking about being saved, which, I also see that as protection, being saved and protected from evil. uh, they told me nobody needs protection. Nobody needs saving. They were also telling me there's no God. There's no war, they were basically saying there's nothing wrong with what's going on this planet, and nobody needs saving. Nobody needs protection, right? Which is not true. However, that was one way to get my defenses down, right? And then one of the other things they did in relation, or told me in relation to protection and safety, is that you shouldn't resist anything. That if you resist, you're going to get back more of what you're resisting. Okay. They also taught uh, that you should stand for, not against. So don't stand against anything. Don't talk out against anything. Don't speak against anything. If there's something you believe in, or you're desiring, or you want, speak of that, but don't speak against the opposite, or that which is undesirable. And there may be some truth in this. This is one of the challenges that I have had in recovery, is that not everything they taught me was a lie, right? This is another strategy they use, which I guess I'll just mention it now. Um, they will take truth, give you truth, and then bury a lie or lies within that truth and hope you don't catch the lie, right? Because if they gave you all lies, it would just be blatant and obvious that they're manipulating and lying you. So they do give you a lot of truth. So, like some of this, like standing for, not against, I actually think that's a good idea. We need to stand for what's right and righteous, right? However, we do have to stand up and say no. I believe we do have to take a stand against evil, and we have to stand up and say no. Not to fight it, not to be evil, do evil to evil, the whole Old Testament eye for an eye thing. I don't believe that's righteous. Uh, I believe that just sucks us into more evil. However, I do believe we have to stand up and say no and stand against it, and, and then turn to what is right and follow that path, right? So, that was one of the things, not resisting. Um, I do believe we need to resist evil. We need to resist that which is wrong, not to a degree that we engage in it on a level of fighting that puts us in a position of doing evil. I don't believe that's the solution or the way. But I do believe that we need to resist and stand up and say no. And but these were things they taught me, right? These were part of the ways they were able to get my defenses down and leave them down. And they were able to manipulate me and control me. One other thing they told me, which, and this wasn't at the same time, but it was further along in my programming or my journey with them, is they told me, uh, once you feel one with us, you won't need protection anymore, which completely contradicts what they, would previously say about not needing to be saved or not needing protection. I mean, they were basically acknowledging, yeah, we're the bad guys. Once you feel one with us, you're not going to need protection from us because you're one with us, right? So they basically came out and admitted it. And this was much later on in the journey, closer to when, because I was resisting a lot. So they were coming back at me with stuff, right? This was closer to the end there, right before I got woken up to who they were. They did come through and say that to me. Once you feel one with us, you won't need protection anymore. Or you'll feel safe, right? So right there, they pretty much, you know, gave themselves away, which they did. in several ways through my journey. Some of it I picked up on, some of it at the time I didn't because I was so spiritually oppressed. But looking back on it now, I can see how, yeah, when they made that comment to me, they pretty much, gave themselves up. And there was many ways they did that. So a little bit on protection, safety. We need protection from these beings who are here, the evil that is here. We definitely need protection. And the best protection we can have is the armor of God. And it's talked about in the Bible. And I'm not going to go into the armor of God today in this video, but I do believe that to be the way. The helmet, the breastplate of righteousness. I believe it's the breastplate. Yeah. Um, the best way to protect yourself from evil is to do what's good and right, even in the face of evil. And this is what I now understand is that we do have to resist and stand up and say no and be in defiance. We have to stand in defiance of evil, uh, and resist it. Okay. We have to have courage, and then we usually have to sacrifice. And this is usually about giving something up or maybe even ourselves being harmed, because we're going to stand up against evil. We're going to speak our truth. We're not going to do evil to evil beings, but we are going to stand up and speak our truth and bring light and stand up against it. And when you do that, usually you get a reaction out of the dark, right? So you have to have courage, and then there may be some kind of sacrifice. Either you may be harmed or from the reaction you get from the dark, or maybe it's something you're standing in defiance against that you have to give up, like an addiction or something like that. However, I do believe resistance is necessary. Standing up in defiance is necessary, uh, to the point that you're able to stand up to it and say no, and then turn away and go the right way. Uh, so these were some of the things that they told me and they taught me when they were programming me, and that I've been able to unravel from and disconnect from now, for where I'm at in my recovery. It's a huge lesson for me. It's been a huge lesson for me, in spiritual warfare and protection. And I do pray, uh, for protection. And I believe everybody should do that. Ask for protection, good protection, by good means, for all of ourselves, for everyone, for our loved ones. We need to be praying for protection against evil, from evil. The other thing on defiance I want to mention real quick, because there's also defiance on their side, right? And they stand in defiance against that which is good and right. And on the good guy's side, we should be standing in defiance against that which is evil. And part of the problem, and it's written in the book, they talk about it, um, that there's going to be a time, or there's going to be situations where people will get confused on what is good and evil, and will actually think we're doing something good but it's evil, and we're doing something evil and think it's good, and we get confused on what that is. And so, yeah, it can be tricky, because if you're standing up in defiance and you think you're standing up against evil but you're really standing up against that which is good, then yeah, you're in trouble. We're in trouble. However, that's part of the journey, I believe, in reconciling with God, is when you do that, and Christ, you do that, you get clear on what is truly good and what is truly evil. And you don't get, caught up in the deceit, that we have going on here on the planet, where some things look good, but they're really not. Okay, so a little bit on defiance, and resistance, and a little bit on the lesson I learned about protection, spiritual protection. We definitely need spiritual protection from these beings. They're evil. They're wicked. Their intentions are not good. I I read it when I started rereading the New Testament after this. Uh, it's in there. You know, the saints put it in there. They talk about it. Okay, so just a little bit today. I want to keep these videos kind of short. Uh, I am going to talk in my next video about prophecy and how they orchestrate prophecy. Uh, but today I want to stop here, and I hope this has made some sense to you. I hope if you are in a similar situation, or maybe you're recovering and already out of a similar situation and looking for help, I hope this has somehow helped you. I hope it's made sense to you. I do want to offer today the recommendation to put on the armor of God and protect yourself. It is needed. Uh, these beings do not have good will or good intent. Um, it's in the New Testament. I read it in there. It talks about the enemy, and it talks about the enemy coming to kill, rape, and destroy. The enemy of our soul, the enemy of this planet, the enemy of humanity, the evil that is here kills, rapes, and destroys. And we do need protection. Okay, so that is my